If you're coming to Iceland in October and you're wondering what to wear, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll go over the weather, daylight, what to wear, the northern lights, and I'll give you a few examples. No fuss or anything like that, just straight to the point. So let's get to it! The weather in October can vary greatly. You shouldn't expect extremely low temperatures, but it will be cold. The average temperature in October ranges from about 2 degrees Celsius to 8 degrees Celsius, although it can fluctuate significantly. Well, that doesn't sound too bad, but don't forget, we don't factor in the wind, and it's starting to get windier now that we're almost into winter, or already in winter, depending on the year. And since we're dancing between seasons, you can expect rain and snow. Sometimes at the same time even. So if it says 8 degrees Celsius, you have to factor in the wind yourself. Hooray! Which is why highly resistant or waterproof gear is mandatory. In October, you can definitely feel that we don't have as much daylight as we did just a month ago. It's not terrible just yet, but it is noticeable. In the beginning of October, we'll have around 11 to 12 hours of daylight, and obviously as the month goes on, that will be less and less. And even though it's not as serious as in November or December, I would highly recommend that you try to plan your day around the daylight. Don't waste any of the daylight on the road. You want to dress for wind, rain, and fairly low temperatures. So let's start with the base layers. We recommend thermal underwear all year round. They're fantastic base layers because they breathe well, dry fast, and most importantly, they keep you warm. And what we like to recommend is that you wear good outdoor gear so that all you need really is the thermal underwear. But if the weather's terrible, or maybe you're just prone to cold, here are some mid-layer examples. You could go for a hoodie. Now try and make sure it's from a sports brand because they tend to breathe a lot better. And breathability is the name of the game. You could also go for a hiking sweater or a traditional Icelandic wool sweater. Now personally, that's a lot. If you're wearing the base layer, you're wearing the wool sweater, and your outdoor gear, and that's just a lot. Personally, I'll just put on the mid-layer if I absolutely have to. Like looking at the northern lights. Now I don't recommend wearing jeans. Much prefer either just the thermal layers or maybe a pair of sweatpants. You'll also want good socks. We recommend merino wool. It breathes well, dry fast, and it keeps you warm. And of course, hiking boots. Good grip, waterproof, ankle support. Wear them all year round. It is so important to wear a good pair of hiking boots when you're here in winter or fall. And remember, you can rent all the outdoor stuff right here with us. So save money on luggage, bring a carry-on, and rent what you need for Iceland. Use the discount code OCTOBER for 10% off on IcelandCover.com. For outdoor gear, let's start with the pants. They don't have to be super thick, they just have to protect you from the wind and the rain. So look for something like Gore-Tex or similar. Wearing a good pair of outdoor pants will change a lot and it will help keep you warm. Then you have two options. You can go for the parka or the shell. Let's start with the parka. The parka is completely windproof, highly water resistant, and made for extreme conditions. This will keep you warm here in Iceland. And most of the time, you'll only need to wear thermal underwear underneath this. Only add the mid layer if it gets super windy. If you don't want that, you can go for the shell. The shell is windproof, highly water resistant, and breathable. It is not as warm as the parka, so you will need to wear a lot more layers, but it is more breathable. So for example, you would wear your thermals, mid-layer, and then the shell. A thin down jacket could be a fantastic mid-layer if you're wearing the shell. But please, don't just bring this, because as soon as this gets wet, you're out of luck. And that's it. It doesn't have to be difficult to dress for Iceland. I personally prefer the parka because it can get very tiring taking off all those layers when you're going in and out of shops, in and out of restaurants, or just in and out of the house. And don't forget the beanie and gloves. Now you can definitely see the northern lights in October. The days are getting longer, so you don't have to stay up for as long as you did in September. Now make sure you dress well when you're hunting the northern lights. You want to put on all the layers because you're going to be standing still for maybe a long time. But if you put on all the layers, you put on all the outdoor stuff, you'll be just fine to look at the northern lights all night long. Now this is a very typical day in Iceland. Temperature is quite low, it's a bit windy, so it feels a lot colder, and there's no sun to warm you up. For a day like this, here's what I recommend. It's not a bad day, it's not a good day, it's just a normal day. Now, this would be a horrible day. Because of the wind, it's gonna feel around -2 degrees Celsius, and it's raining. Put on all your layers, and worst case scenario, you just take off the mid layer and leave it in the car. Now, this is a bit of an extreme example, but I wanted to give you an extreme day as well to get a picture of things. Now this is a fairly good day. The wind's gonna bring the temperature down a bit, but the sun's gonna balance that out. You can wear normal pants, you don't have to wear outdoor pants. You can put on thermals and a parka, or just a mid-layer and a shell. It's a very loosey-goosey kind of day, and you don't have to worry too much about the weather. However, do be aware that the sun might disappear behind the clouds at any moment, and that will absolutely change how you feel about the weather. So definitely bring some of the mid layers in a bag or just leave them in the car. But that's it. I hope you have a better understanding of how to prepare and what to expect when you're coming to Iceland in October. And again, you can use the discount code October for 10% off at icelandcover.com. But that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.